Okay, now it's time for Matthew 25. And the first is a parable. This is the one about the 10 virgins. So, verse 1. Then the kingdom of heaven shall be likened to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. Now, 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. Those who were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. But while the bridegroom was delayed, they all slumbered and slept. Okay, before I go on, of course, symbolism here. This is Jesus is the bridegroom. All right. The virgins are the church, the virgin bride, And, okay, they have lamps. So and this is at midnight this happens. This is a dark time. And the kingdom of heaven, so basically it's when he returns, okay, and sets up the kingdom. Okay, 5 of them. So half of them were wise and the other half were foolish. Okay, those who were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. So keep in mind the lamp, of course, is used to illuminate when it's dark. It's necessary so you can see. You need the light. And an oil lamp, these were oil lamps. So you needed oil, kind of like with a candle and a wick, you needed oil for the lamp to burn. It had a wick in the middle. Only it was just oil inside that container. And that's how the lamp would be lit. There would be a flame at the top of the wick, and the oil would burn. Okay, so these 5 didn't take oil with them. The other 5 did. And the oil is symbolic for the Holy Spirit. And there are many functions of the Holy Spirit, but illuminating is one of them. So with this lamp thing, that's what's being referred to. Okay, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. So maybe they had extra oil in a vessel. Okay, but while the bridegroom was delayed, they all slumbered and slept. So, yeah, okay, there was a little delay. Okay, it happens. So, all right, now, and they all slumbered and slept. So that's interesting. The wise ones and the foolish ones fell asleep. Okay. 6. And at midnight, a cry was heard. All right, so midnight. Behold, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Okay, so this is the darkest time, midnight. All right, and there the announcement, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Okay, now I'm going to get to that. This I looked up because I once had an oil lamp, but used it very little. It was more for decoration, and I wonder about this. So trimming the lamp, what it is, as I mentioned, there's a wick, just like a candle wick, and there's a kind of a space that holds this wick up around the oil. And they trim the wick all the way down to a level where that metal part is, and then they turn that knob and the new part gets pushed out again. So that's how you trim a lamp. But I wondered, what is the purpose in trimming a lamp? If the wick burns, it burns anyway. Like a candle, you don't really trim anything. So I wondered about that, and I looked that up and found out some very interesting things. Okay, so when you trim a lamp, the purpose of trimming the lamp is you keep the light clean shining bright and burning steadily. And the flame will give the optimal amount of light. So you optimize the illumination, okay? And it prevents the flame from becoming dim or smoky or having excessive flames. That's why you trim that wick in the lamp. And it also happens to conserve the oil. I guess the excessive flame would make it burn faster, so it conserves the oil. And in a candle, it's kind of like that. Sometimes that wick gets kind of long and curled and black, and you just cut that part off. It's similar, but I find this interesting in a symbolic way. Okay, if the oil is the Holy Spirit and the lamp is like us, okay, the Holy Spirit is in us and the light is shining and we are able to see what's going on around us in a dark world because of the illumination which is provided by the oil of the Holy Spirit. So we see what's happening. We're watching the end times events and we know them for what they are. And you get a clean light, a bright light, and a steady light. And you get a maximized amount of light, okay? And it prevents that from becoming dim or too smoky with excessive flames. And it conserves the oil like the Holy Spirit. There, you're filled with it. It conserves it. So it's not used up too fast. And you see this when you look around. Many people, their lights are going dim. They're not seeing things for what they are. All right? So all these things apply in a symbolic way, and it's very important to, have the right amount of light today. Okay. So I found that interesting. Wanted to share that. Okay, so then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. 8. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." Isn't that interesting? We know what that means, right? 9. But the wise answered, saying, "No, lest there should not be enough for us and you, but go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves." Okay, so they were lacking in the spirit, and they noticed who had it, and they wanted this, and there wouldn't be enough for everyone. So I don't know how that plays out, but it's interesting that they tell them, in other words, go to the marketplace and buy. I mean, I can't help but think of the people in the church who think they can buy the wisdom of God by going down and buying somebody's book. And I'm not saying there's no merit in these books. Some books, okay, but if you go to a Christian bookstore today, most of it is total garbage, okay? It's prosperity gospel, it's your best life now, all that kind of stuff. There's not what you need. What you need is in the Bible and the Holy Spirit, but you won't find that. You won't find Fox's Book of Martyrs on a shelf, You won't find those things. It's all this nicey nice, positive talk, and that's it. So, and they go and they buy these things and they do book studies on them and they devour these things. And they think that in that they will find spiritual satisfaction, but they don't. It's only through the Holy Spirit illuminating the Bible for us that we get all that. And, it's free. And it's funny, like they think they have to run down and buy some book to get the latest wisdom. And that's how they are. But I can't help but think of that when I read this, like, oh, you just go down to the marketplace and buy for yourselves. So, and notice the wise virgins already had the oil, okay? They were already stocked up with this. They didn't need to scramble around at the last minute to see what they needed, right? And it's kind of like there's a time coming when it's too late. Either you're ready or you're not. Ready or not, here comes the end times. So this is why it's important. And this parable comes right on the tails of all this about the end times in 24. So it's a lesson. Okay. So they tell them to go do that. 10. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding, and the door was shut. Okay, so clear enough there. Okay. 11. Afterward, the other virgins came also, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Assuredly, I say to you, I do not know you. Okay, so some people say they were never saved, so kind of looks like that. I don't know, but it's not good either way, right? Okay. 13. Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming. All right, so we need to watch. The warnings to watch are everywhere. So people who want to blow off the end times or think it already happened or it's not for another 100 years and you don't need to worry about it, they're wrong. I mean, either way, yes, 2,000 years went by, but the command was still to watch. We're still responsible to watch. Maybe it'll show up that it is far away at that time, but it always kind of looked like it. And people say that, oh, well, they thought that back here and back there and back then. Okay, but it wasn't. But it is coming. That doesn't mean it's not coming. It is coming. And when it is here, you need to know it. And I mean, basically, it is here. But they'll either believe that or not, whatever. Okay. So there's that parable, and that's the lesson in here. All right. So be the wise half, not the foolish half. Okay. And the wedding is the wedding feast, obviously. Okay, now we get another one. So that's the end of that parable. And now we have this parable, and it goes out to the rest of the chapter. And so that'll be the end. And then I'll do the other 3 tomorrow. Okay, so 14. For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. Oh, there are 2 parables. Whoops. Okay. To them. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability. And immediately he went on a journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5 talents. And this is, I guess, money. Okay, it's not talent. Okay, likewise, he who had received 2 gained 2 more also. But he who had received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid his Lord's money. Yeah, it's money. Okay, after a long time, the Lord of those servants came and settled accounts with them. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents besides them. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also who had received 2 talents came and said, Look, oh Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Then He who had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid, and went and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. But his Lord answered and said to him, You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed? So you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay, so obviously this is not about money, okay? This is about spiritual things. So, like taking what you have and using it, okay, to be fruitful, productive. And this part here, I just think of these people who, okay, they say, well, I believe, and I believed, and I still believe, and I kept that belief, and they hid it away, and they didn't show that or share it, and they have nothing to show for it. They didn't do anything with it. They never applied it. They never used it. Yeah, they might have it in the end, but again, they never put it to work. They have nothing to show for it. They think that, okay, well, I believe, so I still believe, so here you go, and that's enough. And, they never applied it to produce any fruit. And this is the problem. Whereas the others, that's what this is like, the little bit they have is taken away, and the ones that had something and did something with it are the ones that get rewarded. And this punishment isn't good either down there. So, all right, but it's not that, it's like people who, they have a little knowledge and they don't do anything with it, and then whatever they have, they lose. So in a way, they have nothing, and it's said even that's taken away, something like that. But like they don't have anything, and the little that they have slips away. And I was making this point earlier. It's like you're either climbing up or you're sliding down, and the little bit that's there will slip away as well and be gone if you're doing nothing. But if you're trying to bear fruit and do things, and you try to be productive, and you're climbing up, and it produces results, and then that produces results, and it keeps growing. So it's that idea where what you have is used to grow more, and then you'll have more, and then you have more to use to grow more, and so on. So kind of that growth idea again. But that's what's going on here. But the point is, whatever you have, it might not be much, but you need to apply it, use it to get some result, be productive in some way. There's so many people that think, okay, yes, I'm a Christian, and that's it. They don't do anything. They don't share the gospel. They don't help people. That's it. The whole life is for themselves, and that's a mistake. Okay. So you're either climbing up or you're sliding down. It can't be, you can't be stagnant in the middle. It's just not gonna work.  'Work. 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 ' uh, that's not good. Okay, so that's this part here. Let's see, 20 minutes. Yeah. All right, I'll keep going with this one. So that's the lesson on that. All right, the Son of Man will judge the nations. Okay, so when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the holy angels with him. You know what? Somebody's knocking on the door. I'm going to do this as a separate video. I'll be right back.